Maya Reyes hated thunderstorms. They terrified her. The sound of thunder crashing through the sky was like a monstrous roar that echoed in her mind, and the sudden flashes of lightning felt like the sky was tearing apart. Each storm brought with it a sense of dread that she couldn't shake off, no matter how hard she tried. Ever since she was a little kid, the booming thunder and flashing lightning sent shivers down her spine. The storms seemed to have a personal vendetta against her, always arriving when she least expected them. She would often find herself counting the seconds between the lightning and the thunder, hoping the storm would pass quickly. She would hide under her blankets, heart pounding like a drum solo. The safety of her bed was her only refuge, a small fortress against the chaos outside. She would clutch her favorite stuffed animal, a worn-out teddy bear named Mr. Snuggles, as if it could protect her from the storm's fury. Her parents, Hector and Isabella, always understood. They knew how much the storms affected her and did everything they could to make her feel safe. They would sit with her, holding her close, their presence a comforting shield against the storm's wrath. They would comfort her, saying it was just the sky clearing its throat. Hector would often joke that the thunder was just the clouds having a friendly argument, and Isabella would tell her that the lightning was the sky's way of playing peekaboo. Their words, though simple, always managed to bring a small smile to Maya's face. They'd tell her stories and sing her songs until the storm passed, and the sun peeked out again. Hector had a deep, soothing voice that could make any story sound magical, and Isabella's lullabies were like a gentle breeze that calmed Maya's racing heart. Together they created a cocoon of warmth and love that shielded her from the storm's terror. But Maya knew deep down that it wasn't just a fear of loud noises, it was something more. The storm seemed to speak to her in a language she couldn't understand, a language that stirred something deep within her. It was as if the storms were trying to tell her something important that she couldn't quite grasp. Something about the storms resonated within her, making her tremble. It was a feeling that went beyond fear, a sense of connection that she couldn't explain. The storms felt like a part of her, a wild, untamed part that she didn't understand but couldn't ignore. It was like a secret language she couldn't understand. Still, life went on. Maya learned to live with her fear, finding ways to cope with the storms that seemed to follow her wherever she went. She would distract herself with books and games, anything to take her mind off the raging weather outside. Maya grew up in the small coastal town of Puerto Tranquilo. It was a place where the sea met the land in a gentle embrace, where the waves whispered secrets to the shore. The town was a close-knit community where everyone knew everyone and life moved at a slower, more peaceful pace. It was a place where everyone knew everyone and life moved at a slower, more peaceful pace. The people of Puerto Tranquilo were kind and welcoming, always ready to lend a helping hand. The town had a timeless quality, a sense of tranquility that made it feel like a safe haven from the storms that often battered its shores. Except, of course, when the storms rolled in. The storms in Puerto Tranquilo were fierce and unpredictable, a stark contrast to the town's usual calm. The sky would darken and the wind would howl, turning the peaceful town into a battleground between the elements. Maya, despite her fear, was a bright and curious girl. She had a thirst for knowledge and a sense of wonder that couldn't be dampened by the storms. She loved to explore the world around her, always eager to learn and discover new things. She loved to explore the rocky beaches near her home, collecting seashells and watching the waves crash against the shore. The beach was her sanctuary, a place where she could forget about the storms and lose herself in the beauty of the ocean. She dreamed of becoming a marine biologist, eager to unravel the mysteries hidden beneath the ocean's surface. The sea was a world of endless possibilities, a place where she could find answers to the questions that filled her mind. Little did she know a much closer mystery was about to unravel in her own life, tied to the very storms that terrified her. The storms that had always seemed like a curse were about to reveal a secret that would change her life forever, a secret that would make her see the storms in a whole new light. Her 18th birthday started like any other. The sun rose lazily over the horizon, casting a warm glow over the small town. Maya woke up to the familiar sounds of birds chirping and the distant hum of morning traffic. She stretched, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. Today was supposed to be special, a milestone marking her transition into adulthood. The air was thick with humidity and the sky was a brooding grey. It felt as if the atmosphere itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The weather forecast had predicted a storm, but no one could have anticipated the intensity of what was to come. It was almost as if the world knew something Maya didn't. The clouds seemed to gather with purpose, swirling and darkening as the day progressed. There was an electric charge in the air, a sense of anticipation that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. Her parents threw her a small party. They had decorated the backyard with colorful streamers and balloons, trying to create a festive atmosphere despite the looming storm. Her mother baked her favorite cake, and her father set up a makeshift dance floor on the patio. They invited a few close friends, and Maya tried her best to ignore the knot of anxiety in her stomach. She smiled and laughed, but her mind kept drifting to the darkening sky. She couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary was about to happen. The storm clouds gathered as the day wore on, casting an eerie glow over the celebration. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves and causing the decorations to flutter. The air was charged with energy, and Maya felt a strange connection to it. Then it hit. A blinding flash of lightning split the sky, followed by a deafening roar of thunder. The ground seemed to shake with the force of it, and for a moment everything was illuminated in stark white light. The lights flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. The sudden loss of power left everyone momentarily stunned, their eyes struggling to adjust to the dim light. The only illumination came from the occasional flash of lightning outside. Panic surged through the partygoers, but Maya felt something different. While others scrambled for flashlights and candles, she stood still, her heart pounding in her chest. There was a strange sense of calm within her, as if she had been waiting for this moment her entire life. It was like a jolt of electricity, not painful, but exhilarating. She felt a surge of energy coursing through her veins, making her feel more alive than ever before. It was as if the storm had awakened something deep within her. She felt strangely drawn to the storm outside. The wind and rain called to her, beckoning her to step out into the chaos. She hesitated for a moment, then made her way to the porch, her movements almost instinctual. Stepping out onto the porch, Maya felt the wind whipping her hair, the rain stinging her face. The storm was fierce, but she stood her ground, feeling an inexplicable connection to the elements around her. The world seemed to blur, and all she could focus on was the raw power of the storm. Another flash of lightning illuminated the sky, and this time Maya saw it. In that brief moment of clarity, she witnessed something extraordinary. The lightning seemed to dance, forming intricate patterns that spoke to her in a language she couldn't quite understand. A thin, shimmering arc of electricity danced between her outstretched fingers. It was a surreal sight, the electricity crackling and humming as if it had a life of its own. She could feel its energy, a strange sense of familiarity washing over her. It crackled and hummed, responding to her fear with a strange sense of familiarity. It was as if the storm recognized her, acknowledging her presence in a way that was both thrilling and terrifying. She felt a connection to the lightning, a bond that defied explanation. Maya was both terrified and strangely thrilled. The storm had awakened something within her, a power she had never known existed. She felt a mix of fear and excitement, her emotions swirling like the storm around her. She knew, somehow, that this was just the beginning. The storm had revealed a part of her that she had never known, a power that she was only beginning to understand. As the rain poured down and the lightning continued to dance, Maya felt a sense of purpose. She was no longer just an ordinary girl, she was something more, something extraordinary.